Cheong-san! Na-Yeon screamed again as she finally broke away from Onjo and rushed towards him. She lifted his hand looking at the bite on his hand but couldn't see it properly as her vision was blurred. She had no idea that she had tears running down her eyes, but she quickly wiped them off as she frantically ripped a part of her shirt off and started wrapping it around the bite as fast as she could. Cheong-san just stood there motionless and he watched Na-Yeon try to bandage the bite. He could see her hands shaking, her tears dropping onto his hand. He grabbed her hand as she finished wrapping his hand with a makeshift bandage but still was looking frantically at the arm. Cheong-san could still feel her hand shaking as he held it and slowly she looked up at him. He could see her tear-streaked face, eyes full of so much fear. He had seen her look scared and afraid before but this was completely different. Just keep it wrapped up, okay? We will get you some help soon, okay? She kept on saying it as if chanting a mantra to herself, trying to tell herself that he was going to be okay. There had to be a way. They were staring at each other, eyes unwavering as Cheong-san raised his hand and held her cheek. Looks like you're going to make it. He knew he had to be quick because he could already guess that he was going to turn. There was no other way. No, we can make it together. We will be okay. He shook his head as he reached over to his chest and ripped off his name tag. She watched him ripping it off as he held it out to her and she was confused for a moment before she remembered. Na-Yeon had seen people do this for their crushes and girls they wanted to go out with, one of the many things that she had only ever gotten to observe from a distance. Something she never thought she would get to experience for herself. But here Cheong-san was, giving her his name tag with a goofy grin on his face that he had when he spoke about his family restaurant. Out of everything, she could think of, this was something she didn't expect, but she quickly ripped off her one and held it out to him, which seemed to surprise him as his smile stumbled momentarily before it returned even greater. The two exchanged name tags before she felt him move past her in a rush, giving a hug to Onjo and some of the others. Na-Yeon could hear what he was saying to the others, partly because he was rushing his words because he knew he had no time, and another reason was she wanted to believe that there was still a way all of them could still make it out of here. Cheong-san hugged as many of the group as he could, and when he got to Namra and Soo-hyuk, during the hug he simply had requested one thing: please look after Na-Yeon and Onjo. The two had given him a nod in agreement because this was his last request and they were going to do their best to honor it. Cheong-san finally gave a hug to Onjo, whispering in her ear, "I'll miss you. You've been my best friend all my life. Please take care of her for me." He asked the final words with an air of hope in his tone and she gave him a tight nod with tears running down her face. Na-Yeon felt herself wrapped up in a tight embrace and she embraced Cheong-san fierce as if she could hold him back and make him stay. "Please make it for me," Cheong-san whispered in her ear. She could feel some of the tears on her neck and hers were already running. They pulled back and he still wore that smile as he stepped closer, finally pressing their lips together in a fierce kiss that left her breathless and wanting more. He had that goofy smile as he stepped away from her and looked at the others behind her. She held his hand, trying to stop him from going because she could already tell what he was about to do. "Okay guys, I will be the bait and lead them away. You run into the forest as far as you can before the bombs drop and don't look back." Soo-hyuk and Namra nodded at him and he went to step out the window but felt the hand gripping his tightly, not wanting to let go. He looked at Na-Yeon one last time and gave her a final kiss that seemed to shock her as he broke off his grip with a smile on his face and rushed into the building. Only moments later they heard him screaming, "I am the happiest man in the world," as he ran through the building with the zombies chasing after him. "I like you, Na-Yeon. I wish I had known you before this. Come on." They heard him shouting out more declarations for Na-Yeon as his voice started to disappear into the distance. Anjo and the others had rushed to stop Na-Yeon when she had made an attempt to most likely chase after him. "Let me go, I can help him," she had said weakly, even still fighting their grip. "Do you want his sacrifice to be in vain?" Anjo had asked, doing her best to hold the girl from chasing after her childhood friend. "I want to chase after him too, but we can't," she said, still holding Na-Yeon. "He would want us to make it, no matter how much we want to help him." Na-Yeon's fighting ceased, but Anjo stood there with her arms still wrapped around the girl to see if she still decided to try anything. But she didn't and just hung her head defeated. "We should go now," Namra had said immediately after, and they know what that meant. They had to leg it as fast as they could for the forest. Gwinnamwood had been slowly recovering, heard screaming and turned to see what was causing all that noise. He was surprised and happy when he saw a screaming Cheong-san with hordes of zombies chasing after him. The bully got up and started joining the hordes in chasing him, because if anyone was going to kill Cheong-san it was going to be him.